Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad you can be here today. Welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how narcissistic abuse transforms empaths into alchemists in the 5D. Welcome, welcome. We're talking about how narcissistic abuse. Hi, Doreen. Greetings. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Baby Black. We're talking today about how narcissistic abuse transitions empaths into alchemists in the 5D or the fifth dimensional world. How narcissistic abuse transitions empaths into the 5D. How narcissistic abuse transitions empaths from the third dimensional world into the 5D. This is what we're talking about today. So if you're looking to go beyond psychology and understand some spiritual dimensions about narcissistic abuse and how that turns you into an alchemist, you're in the right place. This is what it's about, right? So as people join in, this is the information. How does narcissistic abuse transition empaths into alchemists in the 5D? That's what we're about today. And just welcome you in with the vibes from Wizkid, Karamo. So this is what we're talking about today, right? How narcissistic abuse transitions empaths into the 5D. Is denial a river in Egypt? I've heard that. I've heard someone say that. I've also heard it's a state of not being connected to reality, you see? So welcome. So, as I said earlier, we're talking today about how narcissistic abuse transitions empaths into alchemists in the fifth dimension, right? And so to start off with, it's important that I explain very quickly, thank you very much, Don Marie, what narcissistic abuse is. And narcissistic abuse, hi Mashda, salam alaikum. Narcissistic abuse is simply a dynamic, a karmic relationship between, hello Karen, an empath and a narcissist, usually based on a karmic soul contract, where the narcissist has an opportunity to gain empathy, but rather they misuse the opportunity for empathy to dominate, right? And put into slavery the empath. Yes, Tresha, why I say? You see, greetings, Karen. So this is what happens. So you realize that when you're under narcissistic abuse, what you're really under is spiritual slavery. And the spiritual slavery that you experience under narcissistic abuse is similar to what's described as Kali Yuga. So for those who've just joined, we're talking about how narcissistic abuse transitions empaths into alchemists in the fifth dimension. And this is all about the spiritual dimension of narcissistic abuse, not the psychological, because the psychological puts a limit on it. So in Kali Yuga, if I may borrow from Hindu cosmology, the symptoms of Kali Yuga is everything we're seeing on the news today. So if you open the news, whether you're on Fox on your phone or Al Jazeera or BBC or CNN or Ghana Web or what have you, all the headlines are unprecedentedly disturbing. And since 2020, we've all become immune to disturbing messages because there's so much bad news in the last 5 years that now bad news that would be on the news cycle for weeks prior to 2020 is just in the imagination for one day and it's gone. This is a symptom of the era we're in called Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga is simply when we begin to see the earth responding to all the trauma that humans have put on the earth. And that trauma includes the trauma that happens from human to human. That's what narcissistic abuse is. Spiritual slavery from one spiritual being, thank you very much, Galinda, that's wanting to enslave another. When you look at the news, you see the fires in Los Angeles, the mudslides in Valencia, the fires in Ghana, in Nigeria, and on and on and on. And you're all seeing this. These are unprecedented, especially the fires in Los Angeles. My heart goes out to those affected. But think about how those fires affected even very, very wealthy people. You see, of course, it is true that to end a narcissistic relationship at 37 years, because 37 years is the life sentence you serve, just like Nelson Mandela served 27 years. So it doesn't matter how long it takes. What matters is how long it takes you to wake up from Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga is the current paradigm they are in, the era of wickedness, the era of witchcraft, the era of lying, the era of gossiping, the era of envy, the era of jealousy, the era of the need to dominate another human being. These are all symptoms of Kali Yuga. And what makes an empath a true alchemist is, imagine what it took for you to escape your narcissistic abuse. Or if you're trying to think about escaping narcissistic abuse, like the sister who mentioned, I've been in it for 37 years, Truth 2.0, right? This is for you. Because the ability to escape from narcissistic abuse is proof of your spiritual power. Let me say it again. Your ability to see narcissistic abuse or to wake up from narcissistic abuse means you are set apart. It means you are waking up to the true reality of the world as it is, which is a very wicked domain described by the Hindus as the place of Kali Yuga. So when you've woken up from narcissistic abuse, is to wake up to wickedness. Because you were narcissistically abused because you couldn't believe people were not kind like you. Not perfect, but not kind. And so the fact that you've woken up, the thing that made you resonant to narcissistic abuse was your own thoughts about yourself. The thoughts about yourself that you were not good enough, that you were not worthy, and that you were not enough. And where did those thoughts come from? Those thoughts came from your early caregivers who said you were not good enough, right? You're right, Galen, that the narc serves a life sentence with no parole. That's why they want you to be there with them. That's the Kali Yuga world. You see, in some texts, they call it exactly waking up from denial, Doreen. This is exactly what it is. So you realize that the thing that makes an empath an alchemist is the fact that you saw the reality, because you only make sense of narcissistic abuse in retrospect, not whilst it's happening. And when you escape from narcissistic abuse in this way, you realize that you have new eyes or new ways of seeing. Some may say it is because your third eye is now open, right? Texas Low 23, thanks for saying this. I escaped after 35 plus years. I've been gone for 7 years. I believe it was a demon. You are so gangster for doing that. And by the way, anyone who wants to join and call in, just call in. We want some voices in today so we can have some conversations. But this is what happens. That it's a life sentence that you thought would never end. You know, we are walking in the lowest energy, lowest level of love and energy, and the greatest of hate in the universe, pretty sure. That's the Kali Yuga I'm talking about. The Kali Yuga, the Hindus describe Kali Yuga as such, that Kali Yuga, or the hell realm, right? This is what you're waking up to is a realm that was dictated by deep wickedness. It's also indicated by the kind of materialism that we see around us, and the moral and ethical decline that we see around us, the environmental degradation. We talk about the fires in Los Angeles and all these things. And so when you begin to see this, is because you are waking up to the lack of love that put you in hell in your personal life. That you were surrounded by hateful people who turned you into a hateful person. And who did the empath hate the most of all? The empath itself. That you hated yourself because other people hated you and made you believe what they projected onto you, which is why you became resonant to the hate or the love bombing of the narcissist. And the reason why you're no longer resonant to that narcissist, whether you've been there for 37 years or 40 years, is because you started to like or love yourself. And in the process of liking and loving yourself, you connected to the true love that comes straight from the source that's within you. And it's that source within you that gave you the grace to wake up from the narcissistic abuse and the spiritual slavery you were in. It's that awakening that has made you an alchemist. The alchemist who's able to transition from hell on earth to heaven on earth. And when you transition from hell on earth to heaven on earth, is the transition into the fifth dimension that we're talking about. Because the fifth dimension is a frequency not a place. Am I talking to myself? We need some voices here. And I'm gonna tune into this vibration from Whiskey to help us, you know. This is what it is. You should celebrate your awakening from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, like Whiskey is saying here. Whiskey from Nigeria. This is a tune titled Karamo. This is what it's about, waking up. And listen to what he's saying. If you're interested in this song, it's called Karamo, Karamo. And your blessings. Pray for mercy. Understand me. Kill my vibe. The narcissist can't kill your vibe. You see? So this is what happens. This is what happens, right? So the fifth dimension is when you are now embracing self-love. Because the fifth dimension is about Christ consciousness, right? It's about becoming conscious to the creator within you. That's why we have some jobs called creatives. Why do you call people creatives? Because creative people create. And when you wake up from narcissistic abuse, you're waking up to the creator in you, which makes you the creator. So when you say I am the creator. And of course, it takes some time to really understand and know this. Because the age of Aquarius is not about believing. Because when you believe, you don't know. The age of Aquarius is about knowing. During those, the people calling in are calling in from TikTok. Bear with me. One love, boss toxic, global. A lot of mothers would do anything for their children except let them be themselves. That's the illusion we're talking about. Because when you wake up from the third dimension, is to wake up to the place of knowing. And this is what the age of Aquarius is about. And how do you know? You have to go through the process of alchemy yourself. Because how do you become a skillful sailor? You become a skillful sailor when you go through the hurricane and you know what to do. You become a light being who can shine light in the dark after you overcome spiritual slavery. What is spiritual slavery? Narcissistic abuse. That's the third dimension. And waking up from that spiritual slavery requires love. You cannot wake up from narcissistic abuse without loving yourself, because it is love that breaks you free from narcissistic abuse. And when you start to love yourself, it's to embrace the love of the all that's within you. Because a person who loves themselves cannot harm another person. Thank you, Dawn Marie. That's it. Karamo by Whiskey. You want to hear it again? I'll play it again. You see, this is what it's about. So when you have love within you, like Whiskey is saying, then you begin to wake up from narcissistic abuse, because you cannot wake up from narcissistic abuse when you don't love yourself. It is love that wakes you up from narcissistic abuse, right? This is what Whiskey is saying. Karamo, he's talking about protecting his vibe and his energy in this song. You see, that's why I'm playing it. Where does your happiness come from? It has to come from within. Because when it comes from within, the narcissist cannot reach you. You see, when you raise your vibration, the narcissist cannot reach you. Don't you see? When you become a loving person, they cannot reach you. So you vibe high. That's how you stay on your throne. And I know this message is not for everybody, but it's for who it's for. You see? And when you raise your vibration is when you are in the fifth dimension. Because when you're in a place of gratitude and praise, can you be afraid? When you're in a place of self-gratitude and self-love. And I love your energy too, Free Prayer. Can you be afraid? Can you be afraid? You cannot be afraid when you are in a place of love. Carrie, you cannot be in a place of love. Doreen, we cannot be in a place of hate when you're loving yourself. You see, that's why you have to get to this place of affirmations, because it's with affirmations that make you an alchemist. And when you say the affirmations, initially you don't believe it. You see, because when you don't believe something, you don't know it. But the affirmations become reality. That's how you reprogram your mind. When you're in a place of love, you can't be in fear or hate. Dawn Marie, thank you for reflecting back. I do not hate. Love is the only solution. This is why love has been made fun of like it's Pollyanna-ish. But it's not just blind, stupid, naive love. Oh, I love the world. You cannot love the world until you love yourself. And what does it mean to love yourself? It means to accept yourself as you are. It means to just look at yourself in the mirror and accept yourself as you are. As you are. This is me. And when you accept yourself as you are, doesn't matter who doesn't accept you. At the moment you accept yourself as you are, the world accepts you on your terms. And when the world accepts you on your terms, how can anybody have the audacity to come and try to control you? They can't. Impossible. Because, as I said on Friday, when you are in fear, these are the words of Bob Marley. You are saying a prayer to the dark energies within you. And the quick and the fastest way out of fear is faith. What does faith look like? Gratitude. I am grateful that my fingers work. I am grateful that I have hair. I am grateful for the space. I am grateful to be here with you on live. I am grateful to be alive. I know I am alive because I can breathe. And my organs are working. When you are in this place, how can you be reached by any negative energy from the narcissist? They can't. I feel my narcissist group trying to control me through proxy. Majda, this is what they do because they cannot stand your joy. They cannot stand the fact that the Prophet Sallallahu is smiling on you, Majda. Hello, everyone. If you know, you know. Love, knowing, gratitude, and gratitude are the keys. Dawn Marie, knowing, self-love, that I accept myself as I am. Global, one love from all the ancestors. They guide you too. This is what it's about. This is how you become an alchemist, because the only way the narcissist could reach you is because you didn't like yourself. So you were a negative alchemist, which is why you attracted them. So imagine when you become a positive alchemist, what would you attract into your life? When you overcome those energies of your program, guess what you attract to your life? Happiness begets more happiness. And it takes a while to stabilize in happiness because you've been sad for so long. You've been in survival for so long. You've been beaten down for so long. So therefore, when you start to tell yourself, I appreciate myself, I'm going to be happy, yourself, your mind doesn't believe you because your mind is a creature of habit. It gets used to the repetitions. And it's the repetitions that become your daily actions, and your daily actions become what you think is your personality. But there's no permanent self. You can reprogram. So when you start to program, I love myself, I am enough, I can do all things. Even if you have nothing around you, you show for it. When you start to say that to yourself, you start to believe it, and you start to know it, and you start to take inspired action, like Neville Goddard says. You don't just sit, you take inspired action. You start to connect with your intuitive wisdom that tells you to go here, do this. Anita, what did you say? I told mine this morning, to be with you means I would have to hate myself. Oh, that's so beautiful, Anita. You are a warrior. And I wonder what they said to you. And anybody who wants to join this live, just join the conversation mainly from TikTok. I'm sure we'll figure out how to do it on YouTube. This is what it is. Karen, yes, I enrolled in belly dancer with my daughters to connect with my feminine. Yes, Christ consciousness. Yes, Karen, Christ consciousness is one. It's coming into non-duality. That's a proof of your alchemy transitioning from the third dimensional world, which is the world of form, to the fifth dimensional world. The fourth dimension is purgatory, where you're trying to figure out the answers to your questions. In the fifth dimension, you've started to embrace self-love. Self-love as an act of defiance, that you are in the world but not of it. Right, Global? You see what I'm saying? Hello, Lua. This is what it's about. You see, not hating when I put headphones with positive affirmation, because the moment you did that, Dawn Marie, you were energetically no longer resonant to them, because the only way the narc can reach you is when you're in a place of self-doubt, which is why the primary strategy used by the narcissist is lying and gaslighting. Because what lying and gaslighting is a spell to trick your mind into worry. You see what I'm saying? So when you escape being worried, when you start to affirm for yourself that you have no fear, even if you have no evidence, that is an extreme act of self-love rooted in self-faith. Now, it takes a while for this to manifest in your reality because you have practiced so long doubting yourself, taking yourself for granted, and believing the projections that the narcissist put on you. So it will take some time for you to start believing that you are the all, that you are not just a human being, that you actually are a spiritual being having a human experience, that everything outside you is sub to what's within you, because what's within you is greater than everything outside you, if you can believe that. And then move from believing to knowing. You see, thank you, Dawn Marie. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. You're right, Free Prayer. These are all, thank you, Truther. You're so kind. These are all, you see, in my view, there's only two emotions, love or hate. Love or hate. Everything falls under love or hate. It's binary. You see, I'm so sorry, Alua, that you are a victim of these narcissists. I'm so sorry. You serve the spiritual slavery. So the only way the narcissist can get to you is to trigger you into hate. Love or fear. Okay, Doreen, we'll go with that. You see, why do they hate so much, Master? Because they are so broke. You remember the narcissist went through the same evil experience that you did. They became broken and evil. And guess what happened to you? You became righteous. Doesn't that make you feel empathy for them, Master? Don't you see? Now, empathy doesn't mean that you want to help them. Anonymous, can narcs heal? You know, the best thing you can do for a narc is to take your power back and focus on your healing. What happens to the narc should no longer be your business after you move on. Global fear of love, that's exactly it. That's why the narcissists become narcissists. And I love the love of fear. It's the same thing, right? Beautiful. So this is what happens. And I feel sorry for them right now, Glamby, Candy. You're exactly right. Why do they act like they are full of love? Because they are mirroring you, SNY. What the narcissist is an incredibly Golden Globe Oscar-nominated actor. They can act because they are predators who can sense what's within you, and they use the raw material that you speak as an intel to create a strategy. So the narcissist has no defense against you when you're silent. Unfortunately, I do not have empathy for them. I understand it, Dawn Marie. You get there eventually. That's what the 5D is about. Now, empathy for a narcissist doesn't mean that you want to reconcile with them. You see, it doesn't mean that. Free prayer. I escaped narcissism yesterday. Listen to him because of what he's saying. It's exactly how I did it. Say more. What do you mean? Pretty sure I started all of this as a child and was told not to tell anyone because they would say you're mental. You see, one of my favorite teachers, pretty sure, was a man called Jidra Krishnamurti. And I've shared this quote before because what he would say is, what is it for a person to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society? Do you want to be well adjusted to a sick society? Then go for it. I don't. You see, Glamby Candy, he covered everything about me. I thought I was going insane. That's the point. That is called the doppelganger energy. Because what the narcissist will not tell you is that they want to be you more than you can be you. You see, the narcissist wants to be you more than you can be you. Narcissists don't want to be exposed. That's their worst fear. Very well said. And the only time that they get exposed is when they face an empath like you and I. When they face a Hyoka empath, a dark empath, I don't care about those labels, but an empath who is awakening to the truth of what's within them. That's the first time this narcissist ever experienced defeat. And the narcissist experiences defeat when they are confronted with love. You understand? This is what it's about. When the narcissist is confronted with love, like Peter Tosh is saying, this is what happens. When you're in a place of love and raising your vibration, they can't reach you. You see, he told me he was obsessed with me. That's exactly, he was not lying. They messed with the wrong one. This is how you know you're a true alchemist, empath. You see, this is how you know you're a true empath. So Peter Tosh says, Exhibiha. Let Jah be praised. Fret not thyself because of evildoers. Don't be envious against the workers of iniquity. They shall soon be cut down. You don't do it. They will soon be cut down. And they will wither like flies. This is Peter Tosh. You see, when you connect to spiritual music, whatever spiritual music you love, you start to awaken what is already latent within you, which is spiritual power. The title of the song is Exhibia Let Jah Be Praised by Peter Tosh. Or you can just type Let Jah Be Praised, Peter Tosh. The law of the universe, you reap what you sow. Exactly, Dawn Marie. So what are you reaping now? What are you telling yourself about yourself? And by the way, it was just a full moon yesterday. How are you using these energies to awaken yourself, to connect to what is true within you? Because the energies are on the side of good selves. We were conceived in love. It's shocking. That's because in reality, we are not only intelligent, we are super intelligent, Master. Because our intelligence comes from the divine that's in us. And it's connecting to what's in you that makes you impervious to any abuse and attack of a narcissist. And that's how you realize you are a true alchemist. What does an alchemist do? An alchemist transitions brass into gold. And how does that happen? How does brass become gold? Brass goes through deep, fiery furnaces. And the furnace you went through was the hell you experienced with all the narcissistic abuse you went through. That's how you qualify for this strength, this awakening. You see? Thank you, Dawn Marie. Wonderful. That's the song. Adriana, lead with love, faith, and joy, and don't worry about outside evil opinions. And acknowledge that they exist, but know that what's in you is greater than any evil concoction in the world. Brittany, I'm currently trying to break free of my narcissistic mother. Thank you so much for being a guiding light in this time. Also, I'm an Aquarius, and this is my year that I know. Oh, Brittany. Brittany, keep shining your light. See, this is what it's about. So anyone who wants to talk, if maybe you take one or two conversations, just invite yourself and I'll get your voice in here. But this is the deal. This is how you become an alchemist. And an alchemist is a transmuter of energy. So you realize that when you become deeply steeped in your alchemy, when you believe nothing can destroy you, all the negative energy sent to you by these narcissists actually elevate you. So you don't mind negative energy because you know that based on the law of polarity, negative becomes positive. So when they throw it at you, when you're strong in your alchemy, it just shifts you higher. And the higher you go is the worse karma for the narcissist. Because the narcissist unto you believed in their demonic powers. Because everyone they met prior to you was defeated. You are the only one they could not defeat. And the reason they could not defeat you is because you've always known that there was something in you that was different. I don't want to use the word special. Pretty sure the hate I get makes me know I'm doing something right. The hate you get is because of all the love that you are. Amen, Anita. This is exactly it. You see, Global, I was conceived on the 4th of July. The whole country celebrates. My birthday was my first act. Global, you have a lot of power, and I hope that you have a channel where you're spreading your light and your word. You know, you have a message. And so share that message, Global, whoever you are, wherever you are, spirit being. You see, this is what it is. So this is what they do to you. That the whole process of narcissistic abuse is to get you to forget. It is to get you to forget. How does the full moon affect us? Because I had a terrible day yesterday and all that. The full moon affects everything. It affects the waves in the ocean. It affects disasters. People are in bad moods during the dawning of a moon, and other people are more adept at talking about the moon. But what I'll tell you is if you're a moon child and you start to connect with the moon and you can look at the moon during a full moon and say your affirmations to the moon whilst it's out there, whilst looking at the moon. For a lot of people, it can be very powerful. Hey, Niatukwe, what's going on? Pretty shield. However, it's so sad to see all the suffering, and patience is our greatest strength. Patience is all it is. Yes, my brother Niatukwe. I think we went. If you are who I'm thinking about, we went to high school together, right? Is this Edwin? You got to tell me if this is you. Global, they said, I came out with clenched fist, a fighter, because you are a fighter of love, like Sade says. Lua means moon in Portuguese, Lua. So why do you doubt the powers of your empathy, my dear sister? I feel when I was going through spiritual attack, it caused me a lot of suffering, the full moon. Yes, but the full moon, like the sun, can become your best friend. You know, this is not for everyone, but I look at the sun when it's out. And I talk to the sun because I am the sun. Because I am the sun, just like you. If you can understand what I'm trying to say, you see? So I am the sun, thank you. I am the dawn, Dawn Marie. This is what it's about. You see, so for some of you here, you might be waking up at dawn, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Don't take it for granted. When you wake up at dawn, those hours are known as the ambrosial hours. Those are the periods of high spiritual activities, a good time to meditate, to do your affirmations, to be an alchemist, right? This is where it happens. First appearance of light in the sky before sunrise. Exactly. And when you start to take advantage of the dawn, whether it's meditating or journaling or quiet time or working out or planning your day starts to become a series of miracles. That's how you develop the discipline, because discipline comes from the word disciple. You see, this is what happens. This is what happens, you see. So you begin to realize that narcissistic abuse, despite all the pain and the drama and the heartache and the sleepless nights and the many nights you cried that nobody heard except you and the divine within you, was simply to wake you up to your spiritual power in these times when the world is going to sleep. That you could not wake up as a light worker and end the curse if you didn't have spiritual power within you. You see, we do have the spiritual power within us. Pretty shield. Lua, when I was a child, I spent some hours looking to the sky, the stars, and particularly the moon, because that's who we are. We are stardust. Us above, so below. So what makes up the universe, all that stardust and carbon, guess where that is? We are carbon. We are light beings. It's within us. So when you connect to that, you're actually connecting to yourself. I'm speaking very metaphysically, if you can connect with that. You see? Zaria Channel, to be honest, the narcissists ruined my life, and I hate that I ever knew these people exist, and I hate them. So I understand what you're feeling is Zaria, and as long as you're in a place of hate, the narcissist has won. So if you want the narcissist to win, then sorry about being very direct, you can stay in the place of hate. Anita, I'm so glad you found the channel too. Marie Perrine, but what about EIYP? Or how does that influence attract narcissists? I was told by my knock that he would follow me into the next life. Yes, the narcissist will follow you into the next life if you don't resolve your karmic debt in this lifetime. And the purpose of experiencing narcissistic abuse is so that you can resolve your karmic debt and then be free. Because there's no free lunch. This life is not a cakewalk, right? So when you resolve that karmic debt by accepting the abuse and waking up from it and accepting self-love, your karmic debt is settled with all karmic partners, Marie. Do you see what I'm saying, Marie? Vous comprenez? Mema Monkey, it took me too many years to figure out that my mom is a narcissist. You know, it's so hard to believe that loved ones will be narcissists. In fact, there's this joke, and I don't know who said it. It says, God will use strangers and the devil will use your loved ones. Because how do you create a defense against a loved one? You don't suspect that they are the biggest demon and most hateful person in your life. My brother was one and my husband was one. Exactly. The reason why that happened is because you were programmed by one of your parents to be like this. Adriana, could you repeat that about karmic debt? Yes, I was asking the question by Marie Perrin about a karmic partner saying, I'm going to follow you until there's no more life to follow you into. But what I said to her was, the way you resolve that declaration is to pay your karmic debt. How do you pay your karmic debt? Is to recognize why your abuse happened and wake up from it and draw the boundaries rooted in self-love. And the moment you do that and you find self-love, it means you have found the divine within you. No narcissist can follow you anywhere else. The reason why they keep following you is because they have been following your family for over 600 years. because your 2 parents couldn't end it, Marie. Then your 4 grandparents could not. Then the 8 before could not. Some tried. The 16 before could not. The 32 before could not. The 64 before could not. The 128 before could not. The 256 before could not. And the 512 before. That's 1,000 people in your direct DNA lineage. Some tried and they could not. And you are the one who says, no, niet. Do you know how powerful you are? That 1,000 people before you in your direct bloodline in the last 600 years could not stop it. This is according to the National Institute of Health, not according to Nana of Inner Mileage. That's the National Institute of Health. So you know that you waking up today is ending a generational curse. In your lucid dream, it was the colonial era, and I died on my narcissist hands. Cassie, maybe this was a dream of opposites, that you overcame it, and the death you saw was the death to your old self, like Simon Beckett calls the denial of death. Death, in a philosophical sense, means that the old version of you dies so that you can quantum leap and quantum jump into your new self. You see, Cassie, or am I just entertaining myself out here in Seattle? You got to tell me, right? Global, I feel I made the world a better place with my presence in a happy world. You are here for a reason, Global, just like me. And you are a good cell here to make the world a little better, to shine the light. You see me? This is what it's about. This is why you are here. You see, this is why I'm here. Hi, Kia. How you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. What's on your mind this morning, afternoon, wherever you are?
First of all, I love your lives. I just wanted to say that. I have a question for you.
Yes.
I am going to a funeral. I have to sing at a family funeral, and I recently cut my narcissistic sister off, right? And they're going to be there. So I just wanted to know or get some insight on how, like, do I speak or do I just kind of continue to ignore them? That's my question for you. It hasn't been a year yet since I did no contact. And I'm actually singing in the funeral, so I'm going to see them. So I just kind of feel uneasy because I'm like, I don't want to feel like I'm harboring anything, but I also know that, the relationship is toxic, and she will fake it. Like, she's one that will fake it.
Hi, I miss you.
Yeah,
we love you.
Like, nothing's bothering her, But so I'm uneasy on how I show up. Like, I don't.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Kia, before I say anything. What's just a quick summary, maybe a 50,000-foot view? Why did you leave? Why did you go no contact? Very quickly.
Okay. I decided to go no contact because of years of her cutting me off. Really. I really believe that her issues with our mother, she kind of paints me with the same brush. I look most like our mother. Mm-hmm. And she had a tumultuous relationship with her. It was very toxic. And now that my mother has passed, there's been incidents where she just would negatively speak on my mother, just kind of paint me with the same brush, speak on my life as if I'm, just going to end up like my mom.
Oh, I got it. When is the funeral, Kia?
The funeral is actually Friday.
Good.
Week, Friday.
So I'm not in the business of giving advice as a coach, right? I reflect back to you the truth. But here's what may I offer an opinion?
Please, yes.
Well, first of all, before you go to that funeral, you better make sure you look like you're going to your president's ball.
Okay.
You got me? First one. The second, and Doreen said as well, put on the full armor of God, which is cloak yourself in love and become very unbothered. Because what she would try to do is either trigger you to the past or love bomb you.
Yeah.
And you just want to, you see what my face looks like right now? This is my resting normal face. I'm not doing this or this or that. So stick with your resting normal face. You don't have to fake anything. And know that you are embodied in life, and remember why you decided to cut them off. And by the way, since you're singing, you better sing to the praise of the divine that's in you, like you've never done before. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does this help?
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, I appreciate it, Kia. Shine your light and keep winning. You heard me?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Peace, peace,
Thank you.
peace, peace, peace. This is what it's about. This is no joke. This is no joke. And we are in this together. You see? We are in this together. Keep your light shining, Doreen said. Hi, Anita. What's on your mind?
Hi, how are you
I'm
today?
well. How's life treating you?
Um, Great.
Oh, I heard the pause. Okay, tell me, what's on your mind?
It's treating me great. My question is, I had a realization about 2 weeks ago when I look back at my life and the two incidents or the two individuals who just have the same kind of behavior. And one is my partner, and one is my twin, both males. So I asked myself, did I experience this narcissistic abuse in the womb? Is it possible that it was with me when my twin and I were in the womb? Because they're the only two that I have boundaries on. My twin and my partner.
Got
They're
it.
like they're twin flames.
They're twin flames. So here it is. So here I'll borrow from the work of the renowned Dolores Cannon. That when you were where you were before you got the Wi-Fi call to hop into your mother's womb because there was a love connection between your mother and your father, you were somewhere where there was a call for volunteers. And volunteers to come to the earth at this time where we would wake up during the age of Aquarius when the whole world is starting to burn. And we knew that incarnating here, we had to forget who we were. And the test and the experiences we had in this lifetime was to wake us up to our true identity. And the only way we would wake up to our true identity is through being initiated with heavy pain. And this journey is the same journey that the Buddha went through when he came out of the palace, the illusion of the palace that life is great, and he saw the sick man, the old man, the sick man, and the dying man, which shifted his world. The same thing that happened to the Christ. The same thing that happened to the Prophet Sallallahu. And Joseph Campbell documents this very much in his work called The Hero's Journey. That we volunteered to come here to experience great wickedness, which was designed to wake us up so we can become fully embodied of the light to our various purposes. Some of us are coaches, some of us are Reiki healers, some of us are tech people. We all have different jobs in this. And the only way you would wake up to the spiritual gifts in you is to be initiated by wicked people, typically in your family. And it is that leads to remembering who you are. And the process of remembering also takes some time because you don't believe it until you know it for a fact. This is why what has happened to you happened to you. Does this help, Anita, or do you have any more questions?
That helps. Thank you.
Are you sure you don't have any questions? There's something else, you put it out there because I can tell you're a deep thinker.
Yeah, I just don't understand I'm still trying to understand the connection between these two male figures. That why those two came to me. My father passed when we were 12.
Yes.
Well, after the father, the closest to me would be my twin brother.
Yes.
And my spouse.
So the reason for that is because I use this quote to explain this. There's a saying, I said it a few moments ago, that the divine will use strangers to bless you, whereas the demons will use your loved ones to torment you. Why? Because you're not prepared to defend yourself against your loved ones. And this journey that you've experienced, Anita, is the same thing I went through. Same. All the narcissists in my life were people I loved and people I thought were my king, my kith and kin. How do you defend yourself against wickedness from a loved one? It takes decades before you realize it.
Right.
Because you embody compassion. And the purpose of that was to create this deeper compassion in you that cannot be shifted by the wickedness in the world. This is why. And by the way, you would not have woken to your strength because waking up is very uncomfortable and only the preserve of the courageous. you would have remained in the comfort of all your illusions until your twin brother showed you he was an enemy. Your own father showed you he was a scorpion. What else do you need? This is it. Do you see?
Okay.
So you had karmic relationships with them in your previous life from a karmic contract that you had to resolve. And the only way you can resolve and pay that debt is to go through narcissistic abuse. Otherwise, what rights do you have to call yourself an empath? You're just an imposter. Do you see what I'm telling you, my dear sister?
Yes, I see. Thank you so much.
Please come on anytime, and I appreciate you connecting to this, yes?
Thank you.
Peace.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so hard to understand that what we've been through is actually a spiritual affliction, which is why it's very difficult to understand this from a psychological perspective, you see? And this is why you've been through what you've been through and why I've been through what I've been through. So that's the message for today. If there's anyone who, maybe I can take one more call if you want, but this is what it is. This is the whole story. This is why you went through what you went through. And what you went through is not psychological, it is spiritual. It has psychological dimensions, yes, but it is the love supreme within you that woke you up to this. That's the love supreme. This is what John Coltrane talks about, the love supreme. See? A love supreme. That's what's playing in the background. A love supreme. So the love that is supreme in you is supreme in me. And remaining with that supremacy as an observer is how you embody the truth of being a light worker. Do you see? This is what it's about. This is what it's about. You hear that, John Coltrane? This is what it's about. Good to see you too. Good to see you. Peace and light and blessings. You see? Listen to this. I'm going to be quiet for 30 seconds. It's coming. You hear the praise. It's coming. This is A Love Supreme by John Coltrane. A Love Supreme. 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 You see? So, I want to wish you a lot of good energy this week. I'll see you again on Wednesday and then on Friday. Next week, I'll be in a silent retreat for 7 days because I eat my own vegetables. I spend time in deep meditation. I was in a silent retreat for 20 days in October, doing it again next week for 7 days. But I'll be back here on Wednesday. And I want to thank you for all the blessings, all the kindness, all your attention. Vicky, one love. Right? This is what it's about. Vipassana, let the sun shine in. How did you know? This is what I do. There's some powerful people here. And I just want to thank you all. And I want to send you the light that's within me to activate the light that's within you. May we activate together. Peace and love. Dana, one love. Lua, shine the moonlight. You can find me on Inner Mileage on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram. And I don't think TikTok is going anywhere. But if it does, there'll be another portal for all of us. Shine your light, my folks. I appreciate you. You are in the 5D. And the 5D is a frequency in your mind. The 5D is a frequency in your mind. John Coltrane will take you there. Bob Marley will take you there. Many people will take you there. Just keep shining your light within and know that there's no one like you. I am because you are. Peace and light. Peace and light. Peace and light. Thank you, folks. Peace.